Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching again. This Sunday we're really excited because our summer intern, her name's Sam, will be here to start off her summer internship with us. She'll be here from the month of May through June, through July, through August. She'll be done, I think, one of the last weeks of August with us. So really excited to meet her, have you guys meet her. She's a really great person, looking forward to doing youth ministry as a career. So make her feel welcomed, introduce yourself to her. Before we dive into our curriculum for this week, I have our tip and trick of the week. We actually just finished the Art of Asking Questions document, and so we talked about a bunch of different ways that you could lead conversations better with your small groups and how we can always grow as leaders. So I'm going to attach that whole thing to this email for you to keep and reference later on if you need clarification on any of those tips from the past weeks. This week, we're looking at a new kind of set of guidelines, I guess, or keys for impact or success. I wish I could claim them as my own thoughts, but I got them from a conference I attended and kind of adapted them into our culture and the way that we do things here at Anona. But it's basically a small group leader's guide to success. So this is bigger than just on Sunday nights. This is how to be an even better small group leader than everyone on our team already is. So the first thing is to be present. And the reason we want to be present is so that students are loved, students are forgiven, and students are shown the bigger picture. Now, this reinforces what most of our students experience at home, but there are some of our students that these things, you will be the first person in their lives to show them love or forgiveness or a bigger picture. So recognize that has impact to be present in a student's life. And we show up in really three different ways to be present. The first one is show up predictably. We want to be so predictable that students know that they can count on us, and anything that we do, they can count on you to be here every Sunday night if you can, and they can count on you to be predictable and how much you're present in that student's life. The second way, we want to show up mentally. We want to show up prepared. We want to show up ready for our night to spend time with students. You want to show up prepared mentally for events that you do with your students. That stuff is important so that they know that they matter enough to you for you to have thought through what you want to say and what you want to do ahead of time. And the third way is my favorite, and it's show up randomly. And this means that you show up at students' events at their schools. You show up to sporting events. You show up to their plays or their musicals or their choir concerts. It's the showing up randomly in a student's life that goes, I care enough about you to take time out of my night or my weekend to show up at something that's important to our students. And that can really change the relationship that you have with a student when you show up randomly. That can be on Facebook. It can be a message on their wall that's just, hey, hope you have a great week. It's the random showing up and being present in our students' lives that really grow our relationships deeper. So I challenge you, be present in one of those three ways or in all of those three ways this week, and stretch yourself to show up randomly because those are the best and most fun moments. Now this week, we're in week 2 of Propel. And in part 1, we talked about how each one of us has a desire to be somewhere different than where we are currently. We have a desire to grow and to move forward in some area of our lives. Now, last week we said one way we grow in our relationship with God is to begin living out the truths His Word teaches us. We don't just sit back and hear a great sermon or talk. We don't just believe a checklist of things. We begin to apply these things in our lives when it's those truths that become more information and become part of our daily lives that we really begin to grow. The truth is we need more than that, though. We need more than just knowing stuff and doing it. We need other people in our lives as well. It can easily look like, or I can easily look at relationships in my life and see how God has intentionally led people to be in my life, to intersect with mine. And even when it was uncomfortable, even when it was inconvenient, even when there were other things that I would rather be doing, I remained in these intentional relationships. I participated in them. And as a result, these relationships with people in my life, the relationships that God had put in my life and the world, it changed my faith. They changed me, and in many ways, it saved my faith as I was growing up, and still today. Relationships matter. I can tell you story after story. So whenever you hear a story about someone's journey towards God, you always hear about a relationship, not just with God, but with a person. That has probably been your experience too. At least it has been for me. When I hear about something with God, it usually revolves a relationship. So for some of our students, these relationships brought them here tonight, or on Sunday night, they'll bring them here. Their students are sitting right here because of someone. God uses human relationships to impact our faith in Him. So how do you get these kinds of people in your life? How do you use this idea of positive relationships for your advantage? And how do you view your relationship through the lens of where people are taking you and how they are influencing your life. That's really what we're talking about this week. And the reason why this is so important to do is because just like the right people can move our faith in the right direction, the wrong people can move our faith in the wrong direction. Relationships are that powerful. Now I want to share with you 2 verses this week that reiterate what we've already said and what our personal experience already has proven for us, that relationships are powerful. And God uses relationships to impact and grow our faith. Now Proverbs 13:20 says, "He who walks with the wise grows wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm." You don't have to be a Christian for this to be useful for you. The people you choose to spend your time with will affect your life. And we can all think of celebrities who seem to be on a good path when they were younger, and then something happens, and things begin to go downhill for these celebrities. They get mixed up in the wrong crowd, they get mixed up in the wrong kind of music, and things go downhill. Now the Apostle Paul talked about the same idea when he wrote to the church in Corinth. It was a church full of people who had decided to follow Jesus, but were having a hard time stopping the things that they had been doing before. And the things that people around them continued to do were tripping them up as well. So Paul also wrote them and said, "Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character." That's 1 Corinthians 15:33. And Paul is simply saying, if you want to be moving in a direction, hang out with people who want that same thing. Relationships can go either way. They can help or harm you. And we've got to learn how to navigate those relationships that God wants to use to help us and to help deepen our faith. But also those relationships that may need to end because they aren't doing us any favors. So to start, we must be intentional about placing ourselves in environments where these faith-building relationships are more likely to happen. God certainly has a role, but so do we, because God always gives us a choice. He may present us with the opportunity, but we need to decide how we will respond. This is why small groups are such a big deal for us. And trust me, our students need small groups. Maybe not right now, but there will come a point in their lives when life gets confusing or hard, and they'll wish they had somebody not only that knew what was going on, but that they could be able to help walk through it with. Whether it's a big decision or a big painful mess, students want to know that someone is there just a text message away, and small groups make that possible. Now, just the flip side is true as well. Just like you need faith-building relationships in your life, it's possible that someone else needs a faith-building relationship with you in his or her life. So we're going to ask our students this question. Are you willing to play the role of a key faith builder in someone else's life? Maybe it's time for you to pray and ask God to open your eyes to how you can build faith in someone else just by being around them. So do you need to put yourself in a relationship to help grow your faith, or do you need to help someone else grow in his or her faith? That's the challenge this week. That's something that we're going to really talk about. And our students may feel like they need some one-on-one discussions too. And that's where you come in, small group leaders. You set the example, and students look up to your faith as depth and as something that they desire for their own personal faith. So know that students are looking up to you just like you look up to somebody else maybe. Now, God's been using relationships throughout history, since the very beginning. It's through relationships that God reaches people and God reaches into our lives. God uses people to propel our faith. We need to keep our eyes open to the possibilities around us. Now, as our students head out on Sunday and as we prepare for Sunday, I want you to think about, who are those relationships for you? Who draws you closer to God? Who do you wish you could hang out with more because you want your faith to look like their faith? And now, what are you doing about it? Are you willing to take a step? Are you willing to make someone a priority or invite them into your life? By doing so, you just might find that nothing grows your relationship with God like a relationship with somebody else. So give that a try this week. And that's our real challenge, that relationships matter. And so for all the leaders on the Anona campus, we'll meet here at 4:45 for our small group leader huddle. Come with a win. Come with a story of something great that happened with a student or a relationship that happened well. And for all the leaders out at the 360 United campus, Omar will meet with you guys where you can share wins and where you can share stories about what God's doing in our ministry together. Really looking forward to this summer. Really looking forward to just our future together as we get ready for Youth Banquet. We're looking at the vision of where we're going forward. Can't wait to share that stuff with you guys. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you Sunday for Propel Week 2. See you later, guys.